This poem is called Once. Listen, all of you. Truth is animita, yet truth is the existence of nimita within animita. Truth is the absence of all things, yet the existence of all things in the universe is also truth. When giving birth to the whole of creation, it is heaven's will to do so with harmony. All creations which live therein must realize the obvious logic that they must learn to discard their greed and coexist. Because one's individual self exists, others exist. It is truth that people understand that they are all one. It is truth that people do deeds absent of the thoughts that they have done them. A life of truth is a righteous life, one in which man lives absent of any wants in his mind. Righteousness means for everyone to know that they are one and to act accordingly. It is important for people to know that they are one. A complete life is one in which man does not live based on greed. A complete life is one simply lived according to the flow of nature. When man lives his life in non-existence, he will become others, and so naturally all conflicts would disappear, and man would live a life that is of nature's flow, and he would be able to live decently. Man, because he is man, lives a life that is focused on making a living, but originally, man should live a life of oneness. A life in which he as an individual does not exist, for it is only when he lives such a life that it is a true life indeed. A true life is one in which there is no distinction between you and me. A true life is one in which there is no such thing as rank. A true life is one in which there is no dual life. If man were to have no wants, he would know the value of man. If man were to have no wants, he would not live in his thoughts. If man were to have no wants, he would live absent of his mind. If man were to have no wants, there would be no superior persons or inferior persons. If man were to have no wants, there would be no ranks. If man were to have no wants, there would be no such thing as high class or low class. If man were to have no wants, his mind would be unbiased. If man were to have no wants, he would have the will to live. If man were to have no wants, he would be able to live well. If man were to have no wants, he would be able to fulfill everything. If man were to have no wants, he would be able to enter into the one truth. If man were to have no wants, he would be happy and peaceful. If man were to have no wants, he would become me. If man were to have no wants, he would not be above me. If man were to have no wants, he would come out into truth and live together with me. If man were to have no wants, his mind would be in comfort. If man were to have no wants, he would not be stubborn. If man were to have no wants, he would have no pride or sense of self. If man were to have no wants, he would have no delusions. If man were to have no wants, he would not be conceited. If man were to have no wants, his core would not be his self. If man were to have no wants, he would be able to live in truth, which is a life that is of nature's flow. If man were to have no wants, research would become so easy, whereby a science that benefits humankind would develop to the utmost. If man were to have no wants, politics would be righteous, and so everyone would be at ease and would live as one. If man were to have no wants, people's standards of living would be equal. If man were to have no wants, culture would flourish to the utmost. If man were to have no wants, he would have no pride, and so there would be no conflicts. If man were to have no wants, homes, societies, and nations would be endlessly peaceful. If man were to have no wants, he would be loyal to what he does of his own accord. If man were to have no wants, he would live serving others. Therefore, people would be able to live with their minds at ease. There would be no thieves or robbers. Not one person would harbor a malevolent mind. There would not be a single person who torments others. People would all be one no matter where they go, and so the world would be a wonderful place to live. Man's wants have made the world what it is today. He thinks that so many different things exist in the world, which is why homes, societies, and countries have become selfish, ones in which he seeks to live well alone. Therefore, man is in a constant state of unhappiness and darkness. A mind absent of wants is the true mind. A mind absent of wants is the real truth. A mind absent of wants is one which knows that heaven, earth, and man are one. A mind absent of wants is one which knows where man came from and where man will go. A mind absent of wants is one which will live forever in heaven after death. Heaven must be one, earth must be one, and man must be one, in order for the world to be right. Heaven, earth, and man must be one in order for the world to be right.